In this video, I'm going to react to a video that a friend of mine sent to me many years ago. This is a hilarious video. It's a sketch done by Saturday Night Live called "Don't Buy Stuff You Cannot Afford." Super funny, super hilarious, but totally relatable, and hopefully you'll get a lot of value out of this video. My name is Paris Clough, and this is Financial Self-Reliance. On this channel, we teach the mindsets and the skill sets of the wealthy so that you can manage, protect, and grow your assets. Let's get started and see what we can learn from this parody about real-life situations. This video is really funny. You're gonna really have a good laugh.
Oh, I just can't get these numbers to add up.
It's like we're never gonna get out of this hole.
Credit card debt, does it ever end?
Can you relate so far? Just credit card debt alone, studies show that the average American is over $6,000 in credit card debt. That doesn't even include the medical bills that are piling up year after year. The average household is actually over $137,000 in debt right now. That's a lot of debt. Now, honestly, most of that is mortgage debt, which is more manageable, but definitely that credit card debt and consumer debt needs to be eliminated as quickly as possible. Let's keep watching.
Maybe I can help.
We sure could use it.
We've tried debt consolidation companies.
We've even taken out loans to help make payments.
Well, you're not the only ones. Did you know millions of Americans live with debt they cannot control?
Do you feel like that's you? Are you one of these millions of Americans that feels like they have no control over their money? It's a very real situation for a lot of people. Are you in debt and want to get out?
That's why I developed this unique new program for managing your debt. It's called Don't Buy Stuff You Cannot Afford.
Now, you and I are laughing right now because this is so obvious. Don't buy stuff you cannot afford. I mean, seriously, that's the answer. If it was so easy, why are people not doing it? That's part of the problem, is that people know better and they still don't do better. That's what we're trying to learn how to do, is develop those mindsets and those skill sets so that we can actually do better and grow our assets. But what's crazy is that we constantly, almost insatiably, consume things only to realize later that we should have never bought them. They end up as stuff on a shelf collecting dust, and we end up having to sell it at a yard sale or something in order to pay off the debt that we have for the things that we bought in the past, because we want to be able to have enough money to buy things that we want now. It's just a cycle, it seems like. Let's keep watching.
Oh, let me see that. If you don't have any money, you should not buy anything. Sounds interesting.
Sounds confusing.
I don't know, honey. This makes a lot of sense. There's a whole section here on how to buy expensive things using money you save.
Imagine that, using money that you actually saved first. Too many people in this world today will make money, they'll spend it, and then they'll spend some more, and then they'll borrow to spend even more, only to realize they have nothing left for savings, nothing left for investments, when in reality what we should be doing is we should be earning money, saving it, and then spending what's left over after we've saved a little bit. The first person that you should pay is yourself. I don't know when we started to do this wrong, but I promise you, millionaires are millionaires because they save money, they invest money, and they pay themselves first. They manage money efficiently and effectively. If you want to reach financial independence, you've got to get this part right. In fact, there's a link to a video that I've done about what you should do before you invest, which talks a lot about these types of savings vehicles and what you should do and how you should save your money.
Give me that. And where would you get this saved money?
I tell you where and how in Chapter 3.
And if you like this video and you subscribe to this channel, I'll tell you where and how on this channel. I couldn't resist. I knew I had to do that. I mean, that was perfect timing, right? Anyways. Now, I know this really sounds confusing to a lot of you, and you're probably really confused and have some questions. So there's a little bit of a Q&A section in this video that we're going to get into and see if we can answer some of your questions. Let's see what they say.
Okay, but what if I want something but I don't have any money?
You don't buy it.
Well, let's say I don't have enough money to buy something. Should I buy it anyway?
No.
Now I'm really confused.
It's a little confusing at first.
Well, what if you have the money? Can you buy something?
Yes.
Now take the money away. Same story?
Nope. You shouldn't buy stuff when you don't have the money.
This is so legit. You just shouldn't buy stuff unless you have the money to pay for it. And there's nothing more powerful than saving first and then buying stuff with money you've already saved up. The first step to all of this, though, is getting your spending in control and tracking your expenses. A lot of people call that a budget. I call it tracking income and expenses, tracking your cash flow, what money's coming in, what money's going out, and making sure you have more coming in than what's going out. And if you have more going out than what's coming in, you just make the change. Find out where you can eliminate a few things and reduce your expenses and get back to a point where you have positive cash flow so that you can start saving, so that you can be buying things you want to buy with money you actually have.
I think I got it. I buy something I want and then hope that I can pay for it, right?
No. You make sure you have money, then you buy it.
But how many of us do this? How many of us buy something now to get that instant gratification and then hope that we keep our jobs, hope that we don't get laid off, hope that we have income coming in, hope that everything stays normal, that the status quo stays the same, that nothing changes so that we can pay for those things we bought? If there's one thing I know, that the only constant in life is change. And so it's more important to be ready and be prepared. That way, if anything changes or comes up, you're ready for it, versus hoping that you're going to be prepared for something by making a decision today that's going to affect your future. Don't wreck your future with poor decisions today. Make good decisions today so that you have a brighter, more profitable future.
Oh, then you buy it. But shouldn't you buy it before you have the money?
No.
Why not?
It's in the book. It's only 1 page long.
It's only 1 page long. I love that part, because how many gurus out there are trying to get so sophisticated with, you've got to do all these things to get your finances in order. And although that's true, there are some things that you need to really do, some steps you need to take. There are some systems to put in place to really make sure that you're on track financially for all the things that you've got to take care of. But it really is as simple as, don't buy things you can't afford. Don't buy something with money you don't have. If people would just do that, how many of us would have no debt? Put in the comments today, if you saved for everything that you bought, would you have any debt right now? If you have debt right now, is it because you bought something before you actually had the money to pay for it? And I'm talking about consumer debt, because how many of us can really save up a couple $100,000 to buy a house ahead of buying the house? A home, a car perhaps, is something that you pay for as you go. That's installment debt. Installment debt is manageable. I'm talking about consumer debt. I'm talking about keeping up with the Joneses. I'm talking about having the latest and the greatest. If we save money first and then buy those things, it's so much more rewarding. The stress, the pressure, all that's gone because we bought that with money we already had. It really is a game changer. I promise. If you've never experienced it, try it. Save up money first before the next thing you want to buy. Save money first before you buy it, and tell me if it's different, if you feel different after you've bought it than when you did when you just put it on a credit card and hope to pay for it later. I promise it's different. Tell me in the comments if you've ever had that experience and you know the difference.
The advice is priceless and the book is free.
Wow, I like the sound of that.
Yeah, we can put it on our credit card.
We can put it on our credit card. Clearly the guy did not get the picture. It's so funny. But how many of us do that? We know exactly what to do, and yet we still go right back to our old habits. Habits are hard to break. We're creatures of habit. We just have to make time to change those habits so that we can have better habits that serve us and bring us to more prosperity and to bring us to more abundance. Change your habits. The habits you have now, if they're giving you debt, if they're giving you stress, if they're giving you pain and suffering, change your habits and change them to habits that bring you prosperity, bring you value, give you joy and happiness, and reduce stress.
So get out of debt now. Write for your free copy of Don't Buy Stuff You Cannot Afford. And if you order now, you'll also receive Seriously, If You Don't Have the Money, Don't Buy It, along with a 12-month subscription to Stop Buying Stuff magazine. So order today.
So that was one of the most funniest videos I've ever watched in a long time. How many of you can totally relate to that video? I'm going to put a link in the description below so that you can go watch this video on Saturday Night Live's actual YouTube channel. It's totally worth it. So funny. But I want to share with you a really quick story that happened many years ago. My wife and I wanted to buy something. We had something that we wanted to buy that was extra and above what we had in our bills. And I'm a salesman. I've been a salesman for almost 20 years. I set a goal to sell the exact amount of products and services that I sold at the time in my business, to be able to not just pay our bills, but then to have extra money to be able to buy this extra item that we wanted to buy. And what was interesting is that I went out and worked hard that month, and I diligently sold. I met with clients, I made a bunch of extra phone calls, I did extra hours, I worked extra hard. And at the end of the month, I went to the bank because I knew I'd hit my goals. I'd sold what I needed to sell. And I went to the bank to be able to make sure that the money was there before I went and bought something, because I wanted to have the money there. I wanted to have earned the money before I bought this item. And when I went to my bank account, the money was gone. Our bills were paid for, but the money was gone for this extra item. And I was confused because I knew that I'd made enough money to be able to pay for this item that we wanted. And so I had a discussion with my wife and I said, what happened? Where did all of our money go? And the response was, well, I bought a few things throughout the month. I'm like, how much were they? And she's like, well, just, $5 here, $10 here, $20 there. And that's when I took a real inventory and I realized, wait a minute, let's see what those $5, $10, $20 added up to. And so we went back through our statements, we went back through our spending, we looked at everything that we had spent that month, and we found out that the $20 here, the $20 there added up to $900 that month. And that was more than what we wanted to be able to spend. That was the item. That was the thing that we were going to buy. That was gone with our nickel and dime, here a little, there a little. And how many of us do that? How many of us think, well, it's totally innocent to pay $5 for a cup of coffee, or to pay $5 or $10 for this item or that item, or to buy a lunch, to take, instead of taking a lunch to work, how often do we buy a lunch and it's $15 or $20? Those things add up quickly. And if you'll just take the time to really make sure that those variable expenses, those expenses that you have control of, once you get those expenses under control, you'll actually have more money to save. You'll have more money to invest. You'll have more money to build yourself a brighter, more prosperous future. I hope that you got value out of this video. I hope that you had a good laugh. I hope that you realize that these guys at Saturday Night Live are making fun of things that all of us do and all of us have done. I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.